This video is how to tune boomerangs. This is not a typical boomerang. This is a six-bladed snowflake boomerang. But the principle is the same even if it were just two blades. So here's the terminology. When it lifts off the countertop, that's positive dihedral. The warp is upwards in this direction. If it were to be negative dihedral, it would actually go down off the countertop. I couldn't show you that on the countertop. It would hit the wood. You want to have negative dihedral on some two-winged boomerangs to make them fly in even bigger circles. Whenever it goes positive, when it rises upwards, positive dihedral upwards like this, that makes a higher flight and shorter circle. When it is negative, when it droops down, warp downwards, that makes a larger circle and a lower flight. When it is negative, here's the pen and it's laying flat. Positive angle of attack is lifted up and negative is going down like this below the countertop. And you want to be careful. This is positive. Some of them it's a real close call. Like this one looks like it's almost identical front and back, but it has maybe 1 or 2 degrees down. I'm still trying to correct for this because these subtle little measurements determine how it flies by several feet. When you lay a boomerang down, you want to have air, depending on the model. Some models you want to have a positive dihedral, that is the wingtips are warped up. And you want it to be, now I've already done this one. I've already warped this one up, you can see it a little bit. A few of the wings need to be retuned. That is, they were done incorrectly, and it's a very subtle thing. That is, this one is a positive, okay, this is dihedral. It's lifting up off the surface. It's flat here, but there's a slight bow in the wood. That's what you want. You want it to be up off the wood. You want it to be off the flat plane by about 1/8 of an inch. You put that into it, you put the warp into the wood by heating up the wood, then applying pressure. I'll show you that in a moment. And when it's totally, this one looks very flat. Okay, you can see the airfoil here. This boomerang tip is a little bit muddy, but and this tip is actually too low. So in this case, I'm not putting it in for the first time, but I'm correcting for some mistakes. And I'm retuning this up, just like a piano needs to be retuned. Same concept. Get a paper towel, fold it in half. This is a 2-inch by 6-inch strip, and when it's wet, you take it and fold it around it like this. Now, what I'm doing this for, I've got a wet paper towel, and now I have tin foil. I'm going to wrap that around it. Okay, so I've wrapped the tin foil around it. I'm going to crinkle up the edge, press it down. That makes it the water, the vapor, as this heats up, the water will shoot out this end and not this end. Okay, so I have the flame on medium. I'm going to put this blade about 1 inch into the flame. Okay, that's going to sit over the flame for about 30 seconds. Now, it is kind of crucial how far back. You want the flame on about the 1-inch mark. You want to let it sit there, again, at least 30 seconds. Now, this is going to depend on a few things. How much water you have in the paper towel, how many times you've wrapped it around, how high the flame is. 30 seconds is about right. You start to see the steam coming out. What this is doing, this is heating up the wood. It will not be scorched because the wet paper towel and the tin foil is a scorch barrier. So it's heating up and steaming up, and the wood's getting nice and hot, and it's going to be pliable. So in between the layers of this wood, the glue that holds the layers together is loosening up. It's heating up, so it will become pliable, malleable. By pressure, I can put a warp into this. You can see all the steam coming out. turn this off. Okay, this comes off. Now it's going to be, there's all the steam rising up. It's going to be hot to the touch. Okay. Okay, so I'm pushing down now. Now how much I tilt it this way, I'm exaggerating. Are you getting close up at this, Keegan? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm pushing down and I'm making sure just a few degrees up or down is going to make the difference whether that's a positive or negative angle of attack. How I can put a positive in is to push down on the tip. I'm slightly leaning into the countertop on that front corner right here. And that's going to make it slightly positive. If I want it, and there are cases where you want it to be a negative angle attack, it will make it go a larger circle. Especially on two-bladed boomerangs, sometimes you want that, but not often. You stop, Keegan. Okay, it is now off almost 1/4 of an inch, a little higher than I want. It was almost 1/2 an inch a moment ago, but I've brought it back down by bending it more. This warp will decrease over the next few minutes, so it'll go closer to 1/8 of an inch in a few minutes from now. You may not get this exact same result. The only way to learn how to warp boomerangs and put in your own dihedral and positive angle attack or negative angle attack is to try this. Some of it is going to be accidental. If you were to make 6 boomerangs, identical in size and shape as much as possible, the warping is a huge factor on how the dihedral, the tuning is a huge factor on how these are going to end up flying. No two boomerang flights will be exactly the same. Some will be close, but what these subtle little differences of a 1/16 of an inch, 32nd of an inch, whether it is 1 or 2 degrees positive angle of attack or negative angle of attack, are going to be a huge difference of flight in the air. And that's the subtle art of boomerang making. Now granted, I am correcting imperfections, mistakes that I had the first time I tuned this boomerang.
This will be a good one.
That's the snow boomerang. Snowflake boomerang.